and fortitude. Let the light of your divine wisdom direct their plans and endeavors, so that with your help, we may attain our just objectives. With your guidance, may all our endeavors tend to peace, social justice, liberty, national happiness, the increase of industry, sobriety, and useful knowledge. We pray, O God of mercy, for all of us, that we may be blessed in the knowledge and sanctifying the observance of your most holy law, that we may be preserved in union and in that peace which the world itself cannot give. And after enjoying the blessings of this life, please admit us, dear Lord, to that eternal reward that you have prepared for those who love you. Amen.
Good morning, members, and welcome to day 3 of the resumption of the debate of the General Revenue Appropriation for 2025-2026. Today we start off with the member from Queen Square.
Honorable Mr. Speaker, I rise today to address this Honorable House in response to the draft estimates for revenue and expenditure for fiscal year 2025-2026 as presented by the Prime Minister on May 12, 2025. Before I delve into my critique of the draft estimates, permit me, Mr. Speaker, to quickly express gratitude to my dedicated Queen Square voters for being most resilient and for being generational UDPs over the past 41 years. That long-standing support is a direct result of our hard work and our unbreakable bond to stand strong in Queen Square. I pledge to stand in the National Assembly to represent my community in every debate, in every vote, and in every way that will aid to shape a better Belize. To the victory at the polls, I dedicate it to my mom, dad, wife, and my little daughter, Zayana. Now, Mr. Speaker, turning to the draft budget itself, while the education budget includes some commendable areas, there is one area that I wish to highlight for its drastic budget increase. At page 157 of the draft estimates, the total budget ceiling for this ministry stands at a whopping $303 million, illustrating a near $14 million increase. However, the real increase is found under personal emoluments of the budget estimate. The personal emoluments stand at $208 million for salaries, allowances, wages, and overtime. That's $83 million more than last year's budget, which is an increase of 66%. Come on, Mr. Minister of Education. It shows that this government can find money for what they want to. I hope and I pray this $83 million includes funds for the teachers' salary raise and for the teachers' increments. I quote the Minister of Education, "It is only through education that we can truly develop this nation. That is why we value our teachers." If the Ministry of Education is genuine to the teachers, I call on the Prime Minister and his cabinet colleagues that there is no better time to value our teachers and grant them the 8.5% salary increase and unfreezing their salary increments. You know what's the irony with this salary increase? When the PUP on the other side was campaigning in 2020 and the Plan Belize manifesto, they went from house to house, promising that when elected, the teachers would receive a 20% salary increase between 2021 and 2025. Let me be clear, In 2021, the teachers led by the PNTU initiated a nationwide strike, primarily in response to the PUP's government proposal to do the opposite. Instead of raising salaries, they were about to implement a 10% salary cut and a 3-year salary increment freeze for public servants and teachers. In the end, the teachers gave in, ending their strike. They were left to accept the hardship of the increment freeze. Now, even primary school students can add 3 years to 2021 to know that by the end of 2024, all teachers countrywide would be knocking on the doors of the Ministry of Finance for their salary increase and for unfreezing their increments. This time, the teachers are seeking a salary increase of 8% along with the unfreezing of their increments. I would have expected all smiles from the Minister of Finance. This requested increase is not half of the 20% originally promised by the PUP. Instead, the Minister of Finance reconvened his negotiating team. His chief negotiator is DPM, Deputy Prime Minister Curdell Hyde. Based on the counter proposal from the team, they have countered with a measly offer of 3% salary raise in October, additional increment at the start of the next fiscal year, the remaining 5.5%, and the unfreezing of the second increment not guaranteed under this proposal. Remember, you all promised a salary increase of 20% under Plan Belize manifesto. Now you want the teachers to accept a measly salary increase of 3%. Of course, the teachers have to reject that proposal. DPM, we all know that your convincing skills are legendary, but that's a pill far too big for the teachers to swallow. Your team needs to rewind and come back with a meteor proposal. Mr. Speaker, I am sure that we all know that inflation is not taking a 5-year break. The cost of food, utilities, and school supplies, they all rise year after year. Let me put this plain and straight. A 3% salary increase barely scratches the surface contained in the Plan Belize manifesto. I won't grandstand on this issue, nor will I oppose simply for being in the opposition. To the government of the day, I say, consider the burden of our teachers that they're carrying every day. They step into the classrooms with inadequate resources, large student-teacher ratios, aging infrastructures, and added duties like the newly proposed feeding program, like kindergartening the students between 12 and 1, like doing homework for free, no compensation for all of those. Yet they've always found a way to educate this nation. That includes you and me. I believe all of us here in this honorable house have been in the classroom benefiting from teachers as we earned our diplomas and our degrees. I'm sure some of us even have teachers who are relatives, teachers who we can relate to, and teachers that we certainly look up to. I say to the government of the day, when will the time come when our teachers won't have to fight or strike for their rights? If you want an incentive to do right, we just need to look across our borders to see how our neighbor Mexico recognized the vital contributions of their teachers. Former Mexican President Lopez Obrador announced a 10% raise for teachers before leaving office. This year, 2025, Mexico's recently elected female president, Claudia Sheinbaum, fulfilled this commitment with a 9% salary increase for teachers, retroactive to January 2025, along with an additional 1% increase starting in September 2025. That's 10% promise, 10% delivered. Former US President Jimmy Carter once said, unless both sides win, no agreement is permanent. The DPM and his negotiating team need to sweeten the proposal for the teachers. Try your best to determine if you can budget the entire 8.5% and the increments for this year. If that is mission impossible, make a new 5% now for them and a 5% next year. One increment this year and the other next year. This proposal can be sweetened as an appreciation to all the teachers countrywide. 10% total salary raise for accepting the terms of a 2-year agreement. It only looks like a tall order, but it's doable, it's achievable with a little more tweaking of the numbers. Remember, I commended the government earlier for finding an extra $83 million in emoluments. I would hedge my bet on you that you can find another $64 million for the teachers. And remember, the UDP government raised teacher salaries more than 20% between 2014 and 2020. Fact check that. So any suggestion by this PUP government that nothing happened for the past 13 years of UDP government is not only dishonest, it disrespects the very unions and public servants they now claim to represent. As is, the teachers have demanded a more favorable proposal. Teachers must take a stand. Remember the old saying, closed mouth, no get fed. All the unions countrywide should sound the alarm. Enough is enough. In Latin, I say to the government of the day, carpe diem, seize the moment, seize the day. Mr. Speaker, this side of the House stands in solidarity with the teachers on this one. Free education is really not so free. We keep hearing this free education term. I think it's misleading at best. I have had people in Queen Square come to me asking to pay the graduation bills, to pay these bills, to pay next bills. I can't see the free education. You can't see that? I really don't want to paint a picture of doom and gloom. I'm just presenting a true picture, trying to stop the PUP trickery of believing education does not come at a price. Now let me shift to another ministry, one that touches every Belizean family, the Ministry of Constitution and Religious Affairs and Transportation. How dare we talk about a modern transportation system when the draft estimate shows no fund allocated for modernizing the transportation industry? In fact, Mr. Speaker, a perusal of the draft estimates for this ministry shows a budget of $2.5 million, totaling a projected $10.5 million. The section dealing with transport administration and enforcement at page 291 reveals that the transport budget is expected to increase from $6.1 million to $7.8 million. That's an increase of $1.7 million, of which $1.5 million is an increase earmarked for spending on recurrent revenues. Believe it or not, recurrent revenues. So the clear majority goes to just recurrent revenues. This is the 5th national budget presented by the member from Orange Walk Central. And you know what? It contains not even a shilling of hope that this government cares about commuters. And not even a Queen's dollar coin is found in the draft estimates to build or upgrade infrastructures like bus terminals. But Mr. Speaker, before I go any further, I want to make it clear that I support the concept of providing more comfortable buses for our commuters, that I support the concept of having less bus operators competing on the main routes, that I support the concept of having fiscal incentives for bus operators. So yes, I support the concept of modernizing the transport sector, but we must do it right. Yesterday, the Minister of Transport, during his presentation in this House, referred to a proposed plan which has not yet been shared officially with us. But to ensure that this plan stays on the road to success, I will add that it's imperative to listen to the stakeholders, listen to the commuters who are crying out for, listen to what the bus operators in this country have been saying for umpteen years. Then revise this proposed plan based on all contribution of all relevant stakeholders. There is no doubt in my mind that a budget from the government side is required to implement the much needed overhaul of the transportation industry. Allow me to put this into perspective for you. The bus operators and the commuters are very wary of this PUP government when it comes to the transportation sector. They remember the Novelos fiasco of 2003 like it was yesterday. Buses on the roads were old and tired. Bus drivers raced for passengers. Commuters waited for hours only to be greeted by a bus full of standees. This same PUP government supported the Novelos bus monopoly 22 years ago. An exclusive 15-year license to Novelos, $43 million in private public sector loans, of which $30 million had been loaned by DFC. Mr. Speaker, I can't imagine how many small businesses, how many agricultural farms, how many opportunities were taken away from small investors to facilitate the revamping of the bus industry. But all the fairy tale dreams and benefits of a better transportation industry under a monopoly went down the drain in less than 3 years. By 2006, it was over. And just like Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put the bus industry back together again. Now, the Ministry of Transportation is back to the fairy tale solution again. They want to monopolize the main bus routes, this time through private-public partnership. But the bus operators that I talked to out there, you know what they're feeling? They have this gut feeling that this proposal is like Novelos 2.0, only at this time, the government wants to be the partner in control of the monopoly. I will repeat, everyone remembers that the PUP government were facilitators of the worst buyout and the worst bus monopoly in Belize's history. Today it feels like deja vu, a weird feeling that we all experienced this bus situation before. Just this time around, instead of the DFC lending, it could be our social security taking on this huge risk. Here lies the problem. The draft estimates should have demonstrated a clear budget from the government to show that standing on the bus when it departs the terminal, bus can go right around the corner. Sorry. The need for terminals is obvious. Take the Belmopan terminal, for example. Everybody is seated at the terminal, and as you go around the corner, everybody is allowed to get up and stand on the bus and go on. Now, if the Ministry of Transport currently is having a hard time to enforce traffic rules on bus drivers, would you believe this government is equipped to handle the logistics and finances of the entire bus monopoly? Bus owners are afraid that they will not see any profits for many years as the monopoly feels its way around, raising bus fares here and there or trying cost-cutting measures to be profitable. The Minister of Transportation has been completely silent on the issue of profits. Maybe it's because there's a reality that public transport should not be profit-driven. It should be cost-effective for the poor. It should be subsidized with a view of one day being free for all. At this stage, nothing is in place to convince bus operators to take this leap of faith into another monopoly. The government has no credibility in this industry. They have invested nothing meaningful in this year's draft estimate. As such, bus operators will find it hard to believe that they will promise from this prematurely hatched proposal. This ministry needs a reset. From the outside looking in, it looks like the government is trying to dead raise because they are not bringing any tangible investment to the table. Well, besides those worn down bus terminals, it appears that the real investment will be coming from the bus operators. I will suggest that the Ministry of Transportation need to, first and foremost, build new terminals and refurbish old ones. Implement a new advanced mobile ticketing system. How long we're behind? And establish a better enforcement team. Only then will this government be considered worthy to invest hands in hands as true partners with the bus operators and with the best interests of all stakeholders. Government may need to subsidize the bus industry. That's real. Too often we hear promises and see pilot programs that never scale up. It's time to step up, government. Move from this fairy tale proposal to at least a true pilot project. Take one of the main bus routes. Go demonstrate to this nation that you can iron out the wrinkles of the intended bus monopoly. Only then will the bus operators be happy and ready to buy in on the National Transportation Plan. Ministry of Tourism, Youth, Sports, and Diaspora Relations. There is no doubt that the tourism is one of the main engines of our country's economy. Since the COVID-19 era, it has rebounded well, showing resilience and room for economic growth. Mr. Speaker, the draft estimate for this ministry is located on page 205. It indicates an increase in the total budget ceiling for the ministry.
Members, please let's allow the member of Mesopotamia to continue his Queen Square to continue. Please let's allow the member of Queen Square to continue.
As I was saying, in the tourism industry, since COVID-19 era, it has rebounded well, showing resilience and room for future economic growth. Mr. Speaker, the draft estimates for this ministry is located on page 205. It indicates an increase in the total budget ceiling for the ministry from $11.1 million last year to $13.5 million this year. That's an increase of around $2.4 million. Being such a profitable ministry, I searched to locate the line items where all big projects were to be found. At page 13 of the draft estimate, the last page for the ministry's draft estimate, I read that $1 million was estimated for Hallova Creek dredging. So that made me realize how the member for Pickstock manages to stay off the radar. These projects being spearheaded by BTB, a statutory body which operates under the Ministry of Tourism. Most of the minister's projects are happening through BTB's $54 million bond, which has been floated since 2023. This bond is designed for marketing strategies and for tourism infrastructure. But since the inaugural fanfare, there has been zero transparency pertaining to the bond. No report, no audit, no breakdown of how this massive sum of public funds is being spent. From my best reports, the minister have been gallivanting around the world, stopping in England to watch the game, sponsoring football teams for the Mondalito, and of course, spreeing on his political ambitions. He was dishing out political donations during the last elections. I'm sure me and the member for Albert knows about it. The opposition demands a forensic audit to detail the precise spending of the bond. How much has been spent and who all have benefited from this bond? At this stage, all I can do is speculate because a school is being opened, an apartment is being constructed, road is being concreted in Punta Gorda. Belizeans have a right to know who in the Ministry of Tourism knows about building roads. Did they go through the MIDH? I'm sure the member for Cayo South could confirm this. Not even the PM can spend $54 million of government funding without first taking it to this honorable house. So then, if this bond does not fall under the Finance and Audit Reform Act, you know what that means. The opposition is not in disagreement to some of the social programs being financed by this bond, but rather the process for transparency and accountability for government funds may not be in place. As such, the opposition demands a forensic audit to detail the precise spending of the bond, how much has been spent, who all benefit from it. I turn to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise. The total budget ceiling, $17.1 million, increased to $17.9 million at page 175. I see Future Farmers Summer Program increased from $19,000 to $49,000. At least during the summer, we know people in the villages who love farming will have better opportunities. Assistance to farmers went down, however, from $2 million to $1.5 million. I find it strange because the cattle disease is right around us. The new world screwworm is a flesh-eating parasite. In fact, the USDA suspended all imports from Mexico to the United States. That's a loss of 3,700. That's a loss of 3,700 cattle per day. I don't know if we have a plan for the screwworm. I don't know if we have a budget if it gets out of hand. According to the member from Orange Walk South, he will eat them along with the cow, not I. The next was the Taiwan Belize Sheep and Goat Project, an excellent project to enhance genetics in the sheep and in the goats. I'm not sure now that we're in phase 2, whether the government is taking it over wholly. What's the budget for this project to continue on? I guess they will eat only grass now. From promise to performance, very short punchline, smart. I'd say catchy smart. But let me stretch out the budget punchline for all Belizeans to fully understand. We on this side of the Honorable House agree that the long title for this year's budget should read, from promises contained in the Plan Belize Manifesto to the underperformance found in the draft estimates. This is a mixed bag budget, as one member on the other side so aptly conceded to in his budget. Another member on the other side, or on the same side, said, we need to find a new formula where everybody can win. I won't name the members, but I will only say that I'm happy to know that not everyone on the other side is drinking that blue Kool-Aid that they are serving the people. Mr. Speaker, the Plan Belize Manifesto is the PUP bag of magic tricks. They capture the voters with it like a political witch casting a spell, promising the world to the voters anything to secure victory at the polls. But you see, the draft estimate tells a new story. Teachers were promised 20% salary increase. That's down to an insulting 3%. 10,000 starter homes were promised. That's now down to less than 20%. Increased police department to 4,000 officers, and to date, that's down to about 2,600 police officers. I think that you will come to one conclusion. This government overpromised Belizeans on the big ticket issues, on the bread and butter issues. I wish to say that on this side of the House, we are not opposing just for the sake of opposing. We are here to do our part in ensuring that there's a better budget next fiscal year. Let us continue to work for a Belize that is just, inclusive, and prosperous for us all. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Just in time.
We'll suspend the meeting to install a podium for Minister Musta. I recognize the member from Caribbean Shores.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to all my colleagues on both sides of the House this morning. I think the member for Queen Square, I think all of us were expecting a breath of fresh air, but instead we got a nice dose of a breath of hot air grandstanding just now from the minister and the member from Queen Square. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in this honorable House with deep gratitude, steadfast purpose, and a renewed commitment to the people of Belize. As Minister of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries, I am honored to present our ministry's contribution to the budget debate for fiscal year 2025-2026. An opportunity not merely to recount figures, but to reaffirm the values and vision that guide our governance. If you would allow me just a moment, Mr. Speaker, to extend my gratitude to my constituency, the residents of Caribbean Shores, who have delivered me yet again in overwhelming fashion by the largest margin in the history of the shores. It is not lost on me, Mr. Speaker, that we are in a division, in a constituency of free thinkers. I can't boast like my friend over there that we have generational PUPs in Caribbean Shores, at least not yet. We have the likes of Sir Manuel Esquivel, Honorable Joe Coe, Mr. Santi Castillo, and Mr. Carlos Perdomo. No doubt very big shoes to fill. And so, having this opportunity in my 10th presentation of a budget debate this morning, and as the first third-time era rep for Caribbean Shores, I am extremely proud. I also want to say a big thank you to my family, to my wife Carla and my two boys Aiden and Liam, for their sacrifice and their support in this journey to make Belize and to make Caribbean Shores a better place. I want to acknowledge my team, Team Kareem, in this third victory, because I can recall in 2015 when we had that first win. When I look back at the photographs and I remember that period, it seems so long ago, but it was a very young, vibrant, junior team when it comes to politics. But to see them now, I see a powerhouse of constituency leaders who are dedicated day in and out to the delivery of services to our constituents in Caribbean Shores. And so to them, I say thank you. Mr. Speaker, having this opportunity as well, now in my third term, but having seen what it was like for 5 years under the United Democratic Party, and then 5 years under a PUP administration, it makes me go back to that song that we had in the last election. They are not like us. Mr. Speaker, I heard the member just now talk about housing. My brother, you have some real nerve to even bring up that topic, because not one of your matchbox houses was built in Caribbean shores. I can report today that we are going to have in a few days 17 concrete homes in Caribbean shores and in Blackberry Estates. Not a single matchbox house. Not that we wanted any of your matchbox houses, no. And it's pretty barefaced. We're bringing it up because you all invented the term and you have to take responsibility for it, for something called housing for the poor. But all that land scam has proven is that the UDP is corrupt to the core, hustling for boots, barefaced hustling. And I heard the member for Fort George say we are going to take back Belizean Beach, and I for one support that call, because it was not the intention then, unless you want to correct me, Madam Leader, that housing for the poor was supposed to be a big land deal sold for $11 million. Is that what your intention was? Or will you come here to this house today and join the call that we take back Belizean Beach from Boots Martinez? That is what you need to talk about. At the price where you pay, exactly. We're not giving you $11 million. And then the member for Queen Square touched on free education. You see the hot here where they talk about? This administration, member, let me educate you a little on education. This administration spent a record budget in financial educational assistance across this country. You check your records. Under the member for Freetown, and I'm sure that will continue with the member from Toledo West. Member for Albert, it is in the Southside constituencies, I believe 23 schools. 23 schools where education is free. You never had that under the UDP. You need to check it. You need to check it. Record achievements, Mr. Speaker.
On a point of order, the Madam Leader was, I think, was doing okay, but the point of order, 42B, clearly states that when a member is speaking, we should all sit and listen. When she had that opportunity, we did not interrupt her, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Members, I take this opportunity to remind all members of 42B. I don't think I need to repeat it. So, member from Caribbean Shores, can you please continue?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to my friend, the member for Toledo West, for having my back. But please, by all means, speak up, but speak about boots. I want to need to talk about. And then, Mr. Speaker, the member for Queen Square. Oh, the member for Kaya West is here. Welcome, member for Kaya West. We're excited to have you with us this morning. But he's here today, so I congratulate him on that. I hope that your deputy leader of the opposition will show face, because that's a major disservice to the people of Corozal North, who just recently elected him. He needs to come to this honorable house and serve his people, man. When you don't appear to represent your people, not just one, not just two, but 3 days, it goes to show that what the people think of the UDP might just be true. It is all about themselves and this power grab. They want to get back into power so badly. They don't even care about representing the people. So I'm glad, Member for Kaya West, that you have showed up here today. Well done. Missed 2 days, but he's here now. And then, I'm not sure, maybe he'll tell us this morning which of the 2 DPs he sits on. Madam Speaker, the member for Queen Square, sorry, Mr. Speaker, my apologies. Mr. Speaker, the member for Queen Square also spoke on the transport industry, which is a topic that he is extremely familiar with. And one, he failed to acknowledge the point that his administration allowed the bus industry to get completely out of hand over the 13 years that their administration had courage of that transport industry. That is why we are in the problems we are today. How many bus operators we have right now? 31 bus operators. What you heard yesterday, member for Queen Square, and I heard you somewhat endorsing the plan of the member for Dangriga, and then you started to actually put forward proposals that he himself said yesterday, man, about the mobile ticketing and the enforcement team. These are all a part of the plan, and you said you're going to attend on Friday. I hope that you do, and I hope that you contribute, because it is an excellent plan to bring back the transport industry in this country that you all ruined. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sorry, I'm already used to Madam Speaker. I would like to now turn my attention to our ministry's contribution in going over not just the budget estimates for this year, but the accomplishments and achievements over the last year. Mr. Speaker, this budget is more than a ledger of expenditures. It is a statement of intent. It reflects our collective determination to safeguard national security, promote good governance, uplift communities, and ignite new pathways for Belize's sustainable economic transformation. In the face of both challenges and opportunities, our ministry has taken bold steps forward, anchored in strategy, grounded in data, and driven by the belief that security and opportunity are not mutually exclusive. On the contrary, they are interdependent forces that together create a resilient and thriving society. Mr. Speaker, this past year has been a pivotal one. We finalized our strategic plan 2025 to 2030, crafted through wide consultation and rooted in the lived realities of the Belizean people, ensuring that our ministry is future ready. From the reduction of major crimes to the digital modernization of our public safety systems, from expanding forensic capacity to reintegrating youth into the formal economy, from regulating firearms responsibly to launching Belize's first commercial hemp line. These are no longer merely aspirations. They are achievements, tangible, trackable, and transformative. This fiscal year's budget will deepen that transformation. It will support new infrastructure for the Belize Police Department, further develop our National Forensic Science Service, strengthen legislative framework, and position new growth industries as the engine of tomorrow's economy. But beyond the policies and programs, this speech is a reaffirmation that security must be people-centered and growth inclusive. that governance must be transparent and accountable, and that Belize's future must be built on innovation, equity, and the unshakable will of its people. Mr. Speaker, it is with that conviction that I now turn to the work ahead of us, beginning with our continued efforts to strengthen citizen security and redefine public safety for the modern era. The safety of our citizens remains the cornerstone of our democracy and the foundation of national development. It is a responsibility that the Ministry of Home Affairs takes with the utmost seriousness and with a clarity of mission that has yielded measurable, meaningful results over the past fiscal year. In 2024, Mr. Speaker, Belize witnessed a substantial reduction in major crimes, recording 1,062 major crime incidents, down by 231 cases compared to the previous year. This decline, Mr. Speaker, includes a 13% drop in homicides compared to 2022 and a notable 32% decrease in murders in the Belize district alone. I know that it might feel like decades ago under the United Democratic Party, Mr. Speaker, where we had John Saldiva and Michael Perifit as the Ministers of National Security. Back then, let me remind those on the other side, Belize was ranked the third most deadly country in Latin America. Since 2022, Mr. Speaker, I can report that we came out of that top 10 list to 11. 2023, we went to 14, and I can announce here today that we remain at 14 after 2024 was concluded. That is a huge jump in just a matter of years. And these aren't my statistics, members on the other side. This is from Insight Crime, which is a trusted crime analysis center that reports on the figures globally. These statistics, Mr. Speaker, represent far more than data points. Each prevented crime reflects a life potentially spared, a community reassured, and a child who can walk to school in peace. Over the last year, law enforcement operations have also intensified. In the year 2024-2025, 479 arrests were made for offenses including drug trafficking, illegal firearm possession, and other major crimes. These efforts led to the seizure of illegal substances and an alarming 139 illegal firearms and 3,532 rounds of ammunition now off the streets of Belize. Mr. Speaker, this reflects a 30.5% increase in arrests and seizures compared to 2023, underscoring our intensified focus on dismantling criminal networks and disrupting the flow of illegal weapons and narcotics into and across our borders. Mr. Speaker, these gains would not be possible without investment in people. On April 19, 2024, we proudly welcomed 213 recruits into the Belize Police Department under Recruit Squad 97. And in just under a month, we will see the integration of an additional 225 freshly minted, well-trained police officers, providing a significant boost to our human resource capacity and community presence. These new officers, trained in modern law enforcement techniques and community-based policing, have already enhanced response times, increased patrol coverage, and fostered stronger relationships with residents and local businesses. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to also acknowledge that just last month, our department underwent a transition in the change of the high command of the Belize Police Department. And we at the ministry join all Belizeans in welcoming with great excitement our new Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Anthony Rosado, whose strategic leadership and acumen will take our department into the future of smart policing. Mr. Speaker, as we strengthen the boots on the ground, we are equally committed to the hearts and minds behind the badge. Recognizing the emotional toll of frontline service, we opened the Lotus Center in early 2024, a dedicated wellness hub offering confidential mental health support, peer programming, crisis intervention, and professional counseling for police personnel. Policing, as you know, Mr. Speaker, is a high-stakes, high-stress profession. If we demand professionalism, we must also provide protection for our protectors. Mr. Speaker, I know that a lot of the information coming out of the Lotus and of these sessions are considered private and confidential, but some of our officers were so overwhelmed with joy at this service that they asked for me to share their testimonials of this vital service that we have added at our department. Corporal Travis Castillo said, and I quote, "Before reaching out for counseling, I was lost, and now I am on the road to recovery. Not back as yet, but getting there." ASP Jose Mendez, commander of Precinct 2 in Belize City, says, "The work of the Lotus office is by far very impressive, validating our officers and giving them a chance to understand their challenges with mental health and building resiliency." Mr. Speaker, in this upcoming fiscal year, I am pleased to announce that we will expand mental health services to district stations and integrate wellness modules into officer training from day one. The culture of silence around psychological well-being must give way to a culture of support, resilience, and human dignity. Mr. Speaker, we are not just scaling up, we are scaling smart. Modern policing requires modern tools. In 2025 to 2026, we will launch the Police Records Management Information Systems, replacing our SIMS system, which is somewhat outdated and has served us well, but it is time for us to step up our game. We will install interview recording systems in Orange Walk, San Pedro, Belize City's Gender-Based Violence Office, Belmopan, Benque Viejo, and Punta Gorda. We will enhance aerial surveillance through our expanded drone fleet, supporting reconnaissance, search and rescue, and hot zone monitoring during high-risk operations. Mr. Speaker, and perhaps what is bound to be the centerpiece in technological breakthroughs for 2025, our ministry will launch a state-of-the-art surveillance camera center right here in the city of Belmopan. In partnership with our national service provider BTL, we have already begun the installation of 1,000 CCTV cameras across all municipalities, urban hotspots, and key tourist areas, with the expected completion date for the project slated for September of 2025. Needless to say, Mr. Speaker, this will be a massive game changer for our policing infrastructure and will serve as an invaluable aid to the police in preventing, reacting to, and solving crimes through HD accurate identification. Mr. Speaker, and to complement our national surveillance system, we will also strengthen our 911 national response system under the CABE-funded Belize Integral Security Program, enhancing real-time dispatch for fire and medical emergencies, particularly in underserved rural regions. Now, Mr. Speaker, I know the public might be seeing, and even in my constituency, that this installation has already begun. You will see cameras across the country in these municipalities going up, and I just want to assure the public that this will be a project that will be completed in September of this year. And so while it is that you might see cameras are up, it does not necessarily mean that they are functional as yet. They have to be connected to the fiber system, connected with electricity and all of that. But BTL is working diligently to have this entire system of 1,000 cameras uploaded by September of this year. Mr. Speaker, this is a comprehensive modernization agenda, not just for the sake of technology, but to ensure that justice is faster, fairer, and more accessible to every Belizean. Mr. Speaker, we are investing in training and development like never before. In 2024 alone, the Belize Police Department conducted 44 specialized courses covering financial crime and fraud investigation, synthetic drug interdiction, human trafficking prevention in collaboration with Colombia, Guatemala, and El Salvador, tactical operations and special forces training, cyber security, Celebrite digital forensics, and judicial procedures. This training, Mr. Speaker, is elevating professionalism and equipping our officers with the tools to confront 21st century threats, from trafficking and gang violence to cybercrime and online exploitation. Mr. Speaker, we are building a police department that is smarter, stronger, and more trusted. A department grounded in data, driven by justice, and guided by community service. And above all, we are reaffirming this truth: national security is not a line item, it is a lifeline. A lifeline for every citizen who deserves to feel safe in their home, their school, their street. A lifeline for our democracy, for our future. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, just last week, our ministry, in conjunction with the Ministry of E-Governance, launched another major digital service, the Criminal Records Registry online portal. For the first time in Belize's history, citizens will be able to apply for, pay, and receive their police certificates of conduct entirely online from the comfort of their home. This innovative service reduces wait times and lines at police stations and enhances transparency and user trust in the system. And to ensure inclusivity, Mr. Speaker, we have equipped 10 police stations countrywide with digital kiosks to serve individuals who might not have internet access or who might not be tech savvy, so to speak. These stations are located in Corozal, Orange Walk, Belize City at Precinct 2, San Pedro, Belmopan, San Ignacio, Benqueviejo, Dangriga, Independence, and Punta Gorda. This initiative, Mr. Speaker, is fully funded by the government of Belize and is being implemented in collaboration with the e-governance and digitalization unit. It reflects a major shift towards citizen-centric service delivery and digital equity. Mr. Speaker, we are also addressing a long-standing gap in criminal investigations by rolling out interview recording systems in 6 major hubs throughout the country. Funded by the U.S. Embassy, these installations will ensure that criminal interviews are conducted and preserved according to international best practices, protecting both investigative integrity and the rights of all parties involved. Mr. Speaker, perhaps one of the most pressing security challenges in our region today is the proliferation of illegal firearms. Recognizing this, our ministry established the Firearms and Ammunition Control Board in January 2024, ushering in a new era of responsible, accountable, and modernized firearms regulation in Belize. For the first time, Belize has a centralized civilian-led authority tasked with ensuring that the import, licensing, tracking, and disposal of firearms is governed by structure, transparency, and integrity. The FACB is not only a regulator, it is a reformer. By rooting out inefficiencies, enforcing high standards, and engaging the public, we are positioning Belize as a regional leader in firearms governance. Just 1 month ago, the FACB secured through its partners at CARICOM Impacts and the Mines Advisory Group a firearms management system, a state-of-the-art system to track firearms, essential components, and ammunition from the point of entry into Belize to end use. In an era where gun violence destabilizes too many of our communities, our approach is unapologetically proactive. We are ensuring that those who carry firearms do so under lawful, well-regulated, and carefully monitored conditions. Mr. Speaker, the work of the FACB is essential to national security, but just as important, it is essential to public confidence. Through its efforts, we are restoring order to an area long plagued by opacity and setting a bold new standard for arms control in the Caribbean. Through these key initiatives, we are reshaping the public's relationship with law enforcement. We are making the system more transparent, accessible, and responsive to the needs of the people. This is the future of public safety in Belize, a future that is digital, inclusive, and driven by results. Mr. Speaker, and while we continue to modernize the law enforcement apparatus, we must also ensure that the physical infrastructure, our buildings, our police stations and substations that are supporting our officers match our ambitions for national security. A digitally enabled system cannot thrive in outdated, dilapidated environments. Infrastructure and morale are deeply interconnected, and that is why our ministry has undertaken a nationwide program to renovate police stations and substations. During the past fiscal year, comprehensive upgrades were completed in Santa Cruz, Blue Creek, Orange Walk, Mesopotamia, West Landiver, Sand Hill, Bermudan Landing, Mahogany Street, Douglas, Caledonia, and Vista Del Mar. We have also refurbished the Police Training Academy Command Quarters and the Lopez Mateos Park Police Booth. I know I'm missing some people here, so let me try to recall. But this upcoming year, I know we have Trial Farm, brand new police station in Trial Farm, thanks to BTB. We have a police substation in Kontiki. I think we're about to complete that substation. And we also have upcoming the first in line for Kabe in Bella Vista with Dr. Osman Martinez. These are all. Who I miss? Oh, yes, man. We have Santa Elena, Mr. Speaker. We have San Narciso coming up on the Kabe. We have Kikaka coming up, all receiving brand new police stations, Mr. Speaker. Lekai, yeah, Lekai get one too. Yes, you're right. Chatomal Street. You said that how much work we do? You said that how much? Yes, we do. I just announced we have 225 coming out shortly. Mr. Speaker, for our officers, these are more than just buildings. They are symbols of respect and reinforcement of purpose. Alongside these renovations, we have intensified efforts to humanize law enforcement spaces, especially for the most vulnerable, our children. In partnership with UNICEF, our ministry conducted assessments and site visits to enhance and expand child-friendly spaces in police stations. These spaces are purpose-built to minimize trauma for children who come into contact with the justice system, whether as victims, witnesses, or in protective custody. By creating areas physically separated from detention spaces and designed with empathy and comfort in mind, we are fostering a justice system rooted in compassion and child rights. We plan to scale this initiative with support from our UN partners because we believe that when children feel safe, they are more likely to engage and heal. These reforms, Mr. Speaker, whether brick and mortar, child safety, or service delivery, are all guided by a people-first philosophy. They are the connective tissue that binds strategy to reality, ensuring that our reforms reach the streets, homes, and hearts of the communities we serve. Mr. Speaker, turning our attention now to the Forensic Science Service and the legislative framework. Our commitment to justice is inseparable from our investment in forensic science. In today's legal landscape, the integrity, speed, and reliability of forensic investigations are pivotal to ensure fair trials, deterring crime, and delivering closure to victims and families. Over the last year, the National Forensic Science Service has solidified its status as a center of innovation and credibility. The NFSS has moved from being a support unit to a vital pillar in the criminal justice reform. Among its major accomplishments for 2024 are the deployment of the first ever rapid DNA system, enabling in-country DNA analysis that accelerates investigations and reduces dependence on foreign labs. What once took weeks now takes hours. Secondly, the installation of a second ballistic comparison microscope, doubling our capacity to trace firearms and match ballistic evidence with greater accuracy. We also have the launch of the histopathology services. I feel like I start sound like you, Dr. Kevin. To support medical legal death investigations. This advancement allows forensic pathologists to microscopically analyze tissue, enhancing the clarity and accuracy of autopsy findings. Next, we have the implementation of internal audits, policy revisions, and international proficiency testing across disciplines, including firearms, toxicology, latent prints, and seized drugs. The NFSS, as you might recall, Mr. Speaker, in 2024, also partnered with the University of Belize in a land exchange whereby the National Forensic Science Service will be receiving a 12-acre site right here in Belmopan, positioning Belize to be a forensic leader in the region. Mr. Speaker, forensics is as much about science as it is about trust. And to reinforce that trust, we are actively pursuing ISO accreditation for our Scenes of Crime office in Belize City and our national laboratory. These standards are internationally recognized and will ensure Belize's forensic evidence is defensible in courts, not just in Belize, but also abroad. In the year ahead, our goals are equally ambitious as we move to operationalize our new rapid DNA testing protocols and establish Belize's first national DNA database following the passage of the long-awaited legislation. We will complete the new Scenes of Crime field office in Dangriga, funded by the INL. We intend to relaunch the tender process for the new forensics lab and morgue, accelerating Belize's transformation into a regional forensic hub. Mr. Speaker, you may also recall last year we had a specialized training for medical practitioners in April of 2024. The NFSS facilitated a comprehensive course on sexual assault response, bringing together 21 medical officers, 2 forensics pathologists, and 2 BDF medical officers. This trauma-informed, survivor-centered approach strengthens the chain of evidence while upholding dignity and due process. Mr. Speaker, this level of investment and reform in forensic science is unprecedented in Belize's history. Whether solving violent crimes, identifying missing persons, or exonerating the innocent, our forensic service is a cornerstone of modern justice. With this budget, we will ensure that the NFSS has the tools, training, and infrastructure it needs to deliver justice swiftly, ethically, and scientifically. Mr. Speaker, let me turn now to an area of our ministry that is very near to my heart, the Leadership Intervention Unit. True public safety begins not at the point of arrest, but at the point of opportunity. It begins with meaningful engagement, community investment, and second chances. This is the guiding philosophy behind our Leadership Intervention Unit, a program that has grown into a national model for violence prevention, youth empowerment, and social reintegration. A name coined by its principal founder, the late William Dawson, the LIU continues to serve as a premier outlet for communities impacted by gang violence and gun crime, offering pathways to peace through a hybrid model of mentorship, mediation, and economic empowerment. In the 2024-2025 fiscal year, the LIU delivered substantial results. 350 at-risk youth were enrolled in community enhancement projects through a conditional cash transfer model. These programs help participants regain control of their lives while earning an income and contributing to civic pride. Many of them were previously unemployed or disengaged from formal work or education. These programs do more than improve public spaces. They restore dignity, purpose, and civic pride in young people who often feel left behind. Mr. Speaker, an additional 120 youth graduated from the Tubal Technical and Vocational Institute in trades such as hospitality, electrical, automotive, construction, cosmetology, and refrigeration. Each graduate received a starter kit and job training, ensuring a bridge from skills to income. By being matched with job placements and support from the Department of Youth Services for on-the-job training, this helped them transition from learning to earning. At the last graduation ceremony, Mr. Speaker, I can still vividly recall the words of an emotional single mother, Miss Fiona Flores, who said, "When I first got to know about this program, I was in search of something to make me better. I never had the opportunity to finish high school, but this program set me on my feet, that I know from here I'm going to move on." It is moments like this, Mr. Speaker, human moments, that make us realize that all our young people really needed was just someone to believe in them, to shine a light on their path, to hold their hand, and to let them know that everything was going to be okay. Mr. Speaker, on Monday I heard the leader of the opposition make some remarks about the LIU and our work program, to the effect that we were essentially cooking the employment records, saying that it is only as low as 3% because we have a lot of workers over at the LIU. I take great offense to that, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of this program, because as anybody on that side can acknowledge and on this side, this has been a completely non-political unit. And there are individuals from each of their constituencies that are employed at the Leadership Intervention Unit. Mr. Speaker, the Positive Moves 3.0 program recorded a 70% success rate in transitioning participants into permanent jobs across multiple industries, ranging from tourism and hospitality to logistics and trade. The collaboration with the Community Rehabilitation Department demonstrates how targeted support can yield lasting change. This is not only a success story for the participants, but a validation of the whole of government, whole of society approach to public safety. In 2024, the LIU conducted 117 interventions and 37 high-level mediation sessions, engaging over 440 disputants, often from rival groups. These interventions diffused tension and often involved rival groups or families in conflict, and in many cases prevented violence before it could erupt. This line of work, Mr. Speaker, is one that often goes unnoticed and unseen. It's not necessarily a pretty job. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty difficult job. And so I want to acknowledge all our frontline employees or frontline generals like Ms. Dominique Norales, our chairlady, Mr. Andrew Dawson, Brother Nuri Mohammed, Futi Gongara, Timmy Stamp, Ms. Olga Sticks. These are all individuals, Mr. Speaker, who play a vital role, along with our police department, in seeing the drastic reduction that we have seen since 2023 in major crimes. Mr. Speaker, last year, the LIU continued its flagship William Dawson Peace and Sprite Cups, engaging over 500 young athletes through interministerial and private sector support. In addition to being a source of recreation and camaraderie building among our youth, it is also worth pointing out that our sports program have a built-in life skills and conflict resolution session managed by the Community Rehabilitation Program, creating platforms for leadership, discipline, and community cohesion. Mr. Speaker, the LIU also hosted a university internship program housed at LIU, whereby 20 university students passed through the LIU receiving first-hand knowledge of the challenges in combating crime as part of their graduation requirement in the field of restorative and criminal justice. Mr. Speaker, in the upcoming year, the LIU will expand its scope with new and enhanced programs. We will launch the long-awaited Youth Agricultural Reintegration Program for high-risk youth, an initiative that aims to teach farming and agro-processing skills to young people, particularly those in rural or high-risk areas, while also fostering food security and environmental stewardship. We will also see the rollout of our GED preparation and parenting classes, further supported by CSOs and family-centered agencies. The General Education Diploma Program will offer young adults a second chance at education, and parenting classes will be launched in partnership with Restore Belize and the National Committee for Families and Children to break intergenerational cycles of neglect, trauma, and violence. The LIU will also oversee the expansion of the Journey to Freedom psychosocial program, providing trauma therapy and life skills for individuals transitioning from gang life or incarceration to a crime-free existence and to build resilience and personal agency. Mr. Speaker, the LIU demonstrates that violence prevention is not simply about policing, it is about people. It's about giving those most vulnerable a seat at the table, a second chance, and the tools they need to lead productive lives. It's about showing our youth that there is another way, one rooted in hope, opportunity, and community support. This is nation building at the most personal level, Mr. Speaker. And through sustained investment, cross-sector partnerships, and commitment, the LIU will continue to lead the charge toward a safer, more inclusive Belize. Mr. Speaker, in a world driven by metrics and outcomes, our policies must be grounded in real-time data, and our strategies must reflect the lived experiences behind the numbers. This is the mission of the Belize Crime Observatory, or BCO, to transform data into decisions and statistics into solutions. In today's world, data is more than just numbers. It is the foundation of effective governance, sound policy, and proactive security planning. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to report that our Belize Crime Observatory has emerged as a regional leader in this very critical space. The BCO provides multidimensional data on crime and violence, which is helping to shape evidence-based policies that directly impact national and citizen security. Its work is instrumental in transforming anecdotal narratives into measurable realities and ensuring that decisions are rooted in facts, not speculation. Throughout the 2024-2025 fiscal year, the the BCO has distinguished itself as a national repository of crime statistics and a dynamic partner in shaping evidence-based public safety policy. As the official point of reference for crime and violence data in Belize, the BCO has strengthened coordination with law enforcement, judicial agencies, civil society, and international partners. Mr. Speaker, in the upcoming fiscal year, it is our intention to scale up the following initiatives. The first is the upgrade and roll out of the National Sex Offenders Registry with enhanced data security, real-time tracking, and compliance monitoring features. This tool will serve as a protective measure for vulnerable populations and a mechanism for investigation and deterrence. We will formalize interagency data sharing agreements to break down the silos across government and improve data cross-validation, critical for more coordinated, whole-of-government responses to crime, education, and social services. Mr. Speaker, we will host regional knowledge exchanges with counterparts from Barbados and Jamaica, expanding Belize's role as a model for digital governance and integrated crime observatories in the Caribbean. The BCO demonstrates that what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets improved. With this budget, we will strengthen its capacity to ensure that data remains one of the most powerful tools in our mission to create a safer, more informed Belize. Mr. Speaker, Belize's prosperity must be anchored in sustainability, innovation, and inclusivity. That is why our ministry continues to advance the vision of economic transformation through the work of the New Growth Industries Unit, a bold initiative to diversify our economy by formalizing non-traditional industries that are locally rooted and globally competitive. In the 2024-2025 fiscal year, the NGI unit transitioned from vision to implementation, establishing strong foundational frameworks and securing notable milestones in several emerging sectors. In the hemp industry development, in partnership with Tropical Health Belize, we celebrated the official launch of Belize's first commercial line of hemp-derived wellness and medicinal products. This collaboration proved both the regulatory feasibility and market potential of this green industry, reinforcing our commitment to sustainable agricultural innovation. And while we're on the topic of hemp, Mr. Speaker, let me just give a shout out to Councillor Ilya Rosado of Kikaker, who says that he's not going to wait for cannabis to be legalized. He's already launching his petition for a referendum on Kikaker. I know that it is the government's position, and even supported by members of the opposition, at least the last opposition, I can't speak for this one, that we do have a responsible, regulated, taxable cannabis industry. And it is my hope that we have the referendum, not just for Kikaker, but across the entire nation for this very important industry. When it comes to the Cohoon industry revitalization, after decades of dormancy, we re-engaged stakeholders and initiated efforts to assess the commercial viability of Cohoon-based products. From natural oils and cosmetics to biodegradable packaging, these early-stage consultations are informing a new national policy for the Cohoon sector. The NGI facilitated extensive stakeholder engagement to assess the potential of Cohoon nuts, oil, and byproducts, as eco-friendly raw materials for biodegradable products, natural cosmetics, and alternative fuels, creating a modern green industry rooted in our Belizean heritage. As one of the pioneers in the Cohoon industry, Mr. Rudy Castillo has said, Cohoon is about us looking inward, embracing what makes Belize unique, different and proud, and introducing to the world a product that is not only the first of its kind, but a bold statement of who we are, end quote. Mr. Speaker, this year our NGI unit will also be working closely with the Belize Seaweed Farmers Association to advance research, training, and export readiness, seeking to turn a once niche industry into a sustainable livelihood for coastal communities and a promising contributor to Belize's blue economy. And Mr. Speaker, while we are not limiting our new growth industries portfolio to just the green economy, we must also look beyond to our orange economy. When it comes to the Belize film industry, we have done a lot of groundwork. Strategic consultations with the Belize Film Commissioner, private producers, and international stakeholders are shaping the regulatory and investment environment necessary for Belize to emerge as a regional hub for film production and creative industry jobs. With the right support, this sector has the potential to generate creative jobs and to position Belize as an attractive destination for international film production. Mr. Speaker, as we face global economic uncertainty and climate pressures, Belize is positioning itself not to react, but to lead. Through the NGI unit, we are planting the seeds of long-term growth, anchored in equity, sustainability, and local ownership. These industries are green, inclusive, and built on Belizean ingenuity. They create jobs, open export markets, and empower the next generation of entrepreneurs. In concluding, Mr. Speaker, this budget is way more than just a fiscal exercise. It is a reaffirmation of our vision for Belize, a nation that is safe, fair, modern, and inclusive. Through every program, initiative, and reform discussed today, our ministry has worked to transform that vision into action. We have strengthened the front line of law enforcement through recruitment, training, mental health support, and digital transformation. We have modernized public safety infrastructure, rolled out online services, and expanded child-friendly spaces to reflect a justice system that is humane and responsive. We have advanced forensic science and legislative reform, ensuring that justice is not delayed, denied, or distorted. We have invested in the potential of our youth through the Leadership Intervention Unit and in the power of information through the Belize Crime Observatory. We have reimagined economic development through the work of new growth industries, turning hemp, seaweed, Cohoon, and the orange economy into sources of jobs and national pride. And we have brought order to our firearms regulatory system through the groundbreaking efforts of the Firearms and Ammunition Control Board. In all these areas, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries is demonstrating that good governance, citizen security, and economic innovation are not competing priorities. They are interconnected pillars of transformation. And our work is being done in harmony with a national economic trajectory that inspires confidence. As the Prime Minister rightfully highlighted, Belize's labor market has achieved a record low unemployment rate, and more Belizeans than ever are finding meaningful work. Mr. Speaker, despite global headwinds, Belize has shown remarkable resilience, balancing fiscal responsibility with social progress. This government has delivered a primary budget surplus, raised the minimum wage, and invested significantly in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. These are not abstract wins. They are victories for everyday Belizeans, and they provide the very foundation upon which our ministry's work can thrive. This budget supports more than just programs. It supports people. It reflects a whole of government promise to build a nation where no one is left behind. I extend my deepest gratitude to the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Finance for their steadfast support. I wish to thank also, Mr. Speaker, the staff at the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries, our CEO, Ms. Sharul Carr, who has been doing an exceptional job as the first woman leader in the Ministry of Home Affairs. All of our dedicated law enforcement officers across the country, I say thank you and I salute you. Our public officers and stakeholders, local and international, who continue to believe in our mission. And above all, I thank the people of Caribbean Shores and Belize, who inspire our commitment and hold us to account. Let us press forward with unity and determination, guided by the goals of Plan Belize 2.0, the global call to action under the Sustainable Development Goals, and the resolute belief that Belize can and must be a beacon of peace, progress, and prosperity. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the wonderful people of Caribbean Shores, I proudly support this budget. Thank you.
I recognize the member from Kayonart. We'll quickly suspend for the removal of the podium. I recognize the member for Cayo South.
Morning, Mr. Speaker. I have to make a recommendation so they make their chairs a little more comfortable. After 3 days, it's taking its toll. Once I get a budget, yeah. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to start off this presentation by giving thanks to the Lord. I think we are all blessed that we are healthy. And we need to be, because we have a long, arduous task ahead of us leading this nation. I would also like to congratulate yourself, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and all the young and new area reps that we have on this side. It inspires me to be able to sit with you guys and girls and to teach you as much as we can, to mentor you as much as we can, and to learn from you as much as we can. That's what I believe that we all need to do in this country to be able to move forward. I would also like to congratulate the new members from the other side. Dongera from Cayo West, the gentleman from Queen Square, Mr. Haylock, my brother Lee Mark Chan from Mesopotamia, and the older heads, Ugo Pat from Corozal North, don't take offense from the leader of the opposition, and Ms. Tracy Panton. I wish you all the best, Ma'am. I hope that your health betters, because you got a long, hard journey ahead. I notice some of your guys done this suck teeth and cut eye out of you, but that's part of it. I wish you all the best. And please bear with me when we do what we need to do in this house. Don't take anything personal. It's not the intent, but we got to do what we need to do. With that said, Mr. Speaker, with all friendships and peace being given, we will start our work.
We will deal with you now.
Let's start with the gentleman from Meso. I was listening yesterday, and he was telling us, the honorable member from Meso, he was telling us that cost of groceries are high. And maybe he didn't say this, but I think maybe he meant it. Cost of food at restaurants are high. Cost of living in general is high. But I would like to request of you, are you a member of the Business Chinese Association? I thought you were the president at one time. You're not a member, but you're friendly with them. You're their agent. You speak for them sometimes. You're friendly with them. You were, so I was right. You were the president, and you probably still a member. What I'm saying is, if you want to help us, because you're a part of government too, never forget that. If you want to help us as government to reduce the cost of living, then I think the honorable members of the Chinese Association need to sit with us, because we as government can do our part. We can put in subsidies, we can do whatever, but we need the Chinese Association, who monopolizes the grocery and the restaurant industry, to help us to reduce the cost by reducing their profits. I would also like to express that maybe the Indian community...
On a point of order, Mr. President. I remember clearly...
Mr. Speaker wants to find that
correct. His remark is not correct.
That would be a clarification, not a point of order.
Sorry, sir, I'm new.
And so
it's a
the Speaker can decide whether he wants a clarification.
Member, can you make clear your point of clarification?
I remember clearly about 2, maybe 3 years ago, there were some meetings with the Chinese Association, which I was invited to also, right? No. They were inquiring, and there was an investigation in terms of how the price gouging came about, including the importers, and everybody was involved. But I don't get into the details.
Mr. Speaker,
right? But it is...
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker. Number one, the member from Mesopotamia did not raise a point of order. If he's seeking clarification, he can do so, but it's up to the member from Cayo South to respond and to clarify. But he cannot get up and make a speech now. He's already done yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member from Cayo South.
Member, can you take off the mic?
Sorry.
I'm not looking for an explanation right now. I'm just giving a recommendation. If you are a part of government, you are a part of this powerful association, you have influence. We will do our part. I'm asking if you are willing to do your part with your colleagues to see how we can reduce the cost of living. It's a genuine proposal. And when you come to this house and you attack, guys, we could start the quarrel, or we could make her do the presentation. I mean, you know, decide I gung-ho anyway, you don't want it. So, I'm giving you that proposal and putting it on your ball court so that the next time you come here with a positive proposal based on what I recommended to you, we will accept. If not, you can't come here, be repeating rhetoric after rhetoric after rhetoric. Next, I would like to address the leader of the opposition. You made some commentary about the George Price Highway, insinuating that the cost is a bit high for 18 miles of road. I think both of you did it, the member of the opposition and the member from MESOP. But you failed to explain to the people of Belize. Did you tell them that this road would be hot mix, leader of the opposition? Did you tell them that we will be doing the rehabilitation of the Beaver Dam Bridge, leader of the opposition? Did you tell them that we would build a new bridge at Mount Pleasant Creek, leader of the opposition? Did you tell them that we'll do a major roundabout at the George Price Boulevard? Did you tell them that we'll do another major intersection to be able to support the new hospital that's being built? Did you tell them, leader of the opposition, that this highway will be one of the first highways in this country that will experience a third passing lane at different intervals? Did you tell them, leader of the opposition, that the highway will be elevated approximately between 18 to 20 inches along the stretch that is being discussed? And did you tell them that we are incorporating all the modern features, including drainage factors? And that's when you throw out numbers without understanding where these numbers come from. So let me explain to you, leader of the opposition. When you give a mile per road estimate, it varies from road to road to road. But in all the estimates I have seen, we have never built a road for $8 million a mile. And what?
What did she say?
I don't remember, but I was kind of listening too much to her. What is important to identify is the cost of a road is inclusive of you stood up yesterday when you could and made complaints about us on this side that we weren't giving you opportunity to speak. So I think you should be respectful. But you're not acting in a respectful manner. I am doing my humbly best to respect you. Me and you the talk, and about Prime Minister, you and me and you the talk.
Mr. Speaker, are we going to get through with the presentation? A point of order for the 2B. You mentioned it earlier. Please remind the leader of the opposition. Thank you.
I just love it because they give me ammunition to do as I want. You understand?
Members, can we please proceed with the presentation?
I am proceeding, Mr. Speaker. So, when you come to this house and you make statements, you need to not just be reading statements without any factual input. I would humbly recommend that you go back and read your notes again. And if you need more information on it, I would gladly give it to you anytime you ask for it. And by the way, this road would be divided into 3 sections. The first section is Section 3, which is the road between Belmopan and Democracia. I mentioned it yesterday. The second phase would be from La Democracia to Hattieville. And the last phase will be from Hattieville to Belize City. Getting to the member from Mesop, he is saying, in his humble opinion, that this road is not an important road. Now, from I grew up, there's one main road that serves this country more than any other, and it is the road that comes from Belize City to Belmopan, from the commercial capital of the city to the political capital of the city. I remember during Hurricane Hattie and others that because of the road condition, when a hurricane would pass through, you would not be able to come from Belmopan to Belize City and vice versa. This road is the road that experiences the most fatalities in the entire country. In fact, there was a sign, I think they took it down a couple of years ago by mile 30-something, if I'm not mistaken, where the insurance companies put up on a big vehicle mash-up to give you a warning of how dangerous that road is. When you go back and drive back, remember from Mesop, I'm not sure if you're driving back or you use a helicopter, I'm not sure. But if you drive back, I would like you to look at how the road has been deteriorated to the point where there is absolutely no shoulders left. The line that demarcates the width of the road cannot be painted because there is no asphalt to paint it on. If you would ever have a flat tire or you would be something happen and you had to swerve off the road, you would probably die because the vehicle will flip. The angles of the road is not adequate for the type of driving that we are doing. The smoothness of the road has gone past the level where it is safe. So with the slightest rain that that road experiences, the little oil that left on it creates like an ice field where you can do ice skating. Mr. Speaker, our responsibility is to not only build new roads, not only resurface old roads, but to rehabilitate existing infrastructure roads so that they reach a level that it can last a longer period of time. So I just wanted to explain that to you. But let's compare this road as a priority. You said that this road is not a priority. Okay. Let's go back to 2018 when a contract was signed for the road that goes to Caracol. And you can go into the history. I was one of the first people that said that that road, in my opinion, was not a priority road. And I still insist that that is not a priority road. We will be spending mega millions of dollars to complete that road, and we will complete it because we are a responsible government, and contracts were signed before. Unlike the UDP, when they come in, they cancel contracts and have to pay millions of dollars to the attorneys and to the contractors that the contracts were not awarded to. We did not do that. The contract was issued, payments were made, work was being done, and there was a second phase, which is the one that's being done right now. We respected the procurement procedures, we respected the contractor that had won the bid, and we continued the project, knowing that that road is definitely not a priority road if you compare it to the George Price Highway. So I just wanted to clarify that, member from Mesopotamia. Mr. Speaker, under infrastructure development portfolio, the ministry is legally mandated to upkeep and maintain a public road network comprising of 3,156 miles. I want to repeat that. 3,156 miles. That is 23 miles more than we had before. Why? Because we have opened up 23 miles of roads in the rural communities, most of them village and farm roads. Of those 3,156 miles, Mr. Speaker, 684 are paved, 2,266 miles are gravel, and 205 miles of those are earth road. Mr. Speaker, you are our area representative from a rural community. You can understand how much work it takes to be able to maintain those 3,156 miles. The Ministry of MIDH Infrastructure Development Portfolio has a road maintenance unit in each district. We have approximately 500 public officers in the ministry stationed throughout the entire country, working every single day. If there is a fire somewhere, we are called. If there is a problem at the garbage dump, we are called. If there is a problem with a storm, we are there. If there is an emergency, we are one of the first ministries to be called. NEMO knows this. We are like brother with NEMO because we support them. We have to. We want to. That is what we do at the ministry. This road maintenance unit in each district, whose staff includes support staff, technical supervisors, equipment operators, tradesmen, mechanics, welders, all under the supervision of district technical supervisors and engineers. Their activities include patching of paved roads, spot patching of gravel roads, resurfacing of gravel roads, vegetation control, grading of roads, cleaning of drain structures, culvert installation, minor bridge maintenance, new road construction, reopening of existing roads, opening of new village and farm roads, waste disposal of our main highways, line markings, signs, guardrails, etc., etc., etc. But one of the programs that we have put in, which I am pleading and I continue to plead with the Belizean people, is we are spending too much money collecting garbage on our highways. I'm asking the private sector that produces the garbage, I'm asking the Belizean people to have some more civic pride. It is horrendous when we are bush hogging the sides of the highway and the amount of plastic that you see. I am asking the business community to start, instead of giving plastic bags, let's go back to the old days and do the paper bags that are recycled, that safer for the environment. Let's do a program where we ask people to take grocery bags the way we used to do it when we were small, like then small crocus bag or paper bags or cloth bags and reuse them over and over. Let's help our country. MIDH is doing its part, but we need everybody, the Ministry of Environment, we need the Ministry of Tourism, we need everybody here and on the opposing side to convince our Belizean people that we have to take care of what we have, which is a jewel. So that's one of the things that I plead. Secondly, I plead, make we stop this drinking and driving, man. We are faced with serious accidents over there, and a majority of it is because, one, people are drinking and driving, and two, we have a tendency in this country to not like to respect the law. We drive above 55 miles an hour, that's for sure. We text and we drive. We phone and we drive. We gossip and we drive. We do everything except paying attention to the road and the people and the animals that are in front of us. And I say we, because we are also, I am part of it. We grew up in that culture where we feel like, oh, we're a bad man and we could drive faster, you know what I mean, and we could get away with it until we kill somebody or until one of our loved ones die. And when one of our loved ones die, they're not a PUP, they're not a UDP. It's a Belizean. It's a Belizean, and we have to take care of that. I got a next problem. And the minister, they say too, motorcycles, good thing and bad thing. Good thing, I could say motorcycles have enhanced the quality of life of my constituency because it allows people to have transportation now at a very inexpensive rate. They can go from point A to point B, they could go to their work, they could go to their farm, they could take their produce. Sometimes they got 3, 4 picnic on their cycle, they go to school. We understand this. But what we are failing to realize is that these motorcycles, if we do not monitor them properly, if they're not licensed properly, if the people that drive them do not know how to drive them properly, they are endangering the lives of other people also. So let's embrace this new technology that we have now, because I think it's positive. But let's find a way, Minister of Transport, to regulate it so that it is safe. I got a next problem with cycling at the village, and I don't know if I do it this one, so give me a little chance. They put on some big muffler when the villagers can't sleep the night. All night, and the villagers are not sleeping. I got complaints, from all the villages. I don't know if it's the same in Mesop. I'm not sure if it's the same in Freetown. I'm not sure if it's the same in Lake Isle. But in the villages, it's a major problem, and I think we need to address it. I have to put in their plugs, but I don't really got a problem, but I assume people have to put in their plugs. So, what's the purpose of today? On this side, it's to support and to report. On that side, I'm not exactly sure, but let's stick to the support and report. We are here to support this budget, and by supporting this budget, my responsibility and all our responsibility is to explain to the people how their money is being spent. Because don't make no goes fool you. Enough for their money over there, and enough for we money over here. We are elected on behalf of the people to manage the people's money. And so if they rail up with me, then go all right. If they ask questions, then go all right. You understand what I said? That's a we job. So don't come and beat your chest and say, I give you this. I build that for you. Thank you very much. We would like to do that. And sometimes maybe it feels good. But the people that you're giving it to should say thank you to themselves, that they elected you to be responsible enough to use the resources that was given for their behalf. That's what I believe the reporting is all about. You agree with me, member from Mesop? Good. I like when you agree with me. Well, I always correct so I agree. So, the update. I must say, my brother, you're a little better representative from Mesop than the last time. Oh my God, the last one will stress me out. No, that for no problem. I don't want to get no for no, sorry. So, projects that we have done. So, what happens with our budget? Our budget is not exactly the work that's done that year. Some of our budget goes 4 or 5 years depending on the project. So what I'm saying today, some of it are projects that we have completed in this year that passed. Some of the projects are ongoing. Some will start. So just to give you an idea of the projects that we are doing. The completion and inauguration of the Philip Golson and Remate bypass upgrading project. That was completed this year, Mr. Speaker. The construction of the J&W Bridge and approaches, inclusive of Treasury J&W Road in Belmopan. That is the one we inaugurated about, I think it was a week ago or 1 week ago, not so. That one is special, Mr. Speaker. We managed to solve a flooding problem in the J&W area. We managed to pave a road. Even John Saldiva can smile because we paved the road right front of house.
We can't change our name for J&W.
That not me, boss. I know into that. That's somebody else if they want to deal with the name. I like that build the road. We paved the road that allows the residents along that stretch to be able to now have access to their property. We have elevated the value of property in that area by just putting in the road. We have put in culverts to better the drainage area. So that whole section was an awesome experience to see how infrastructure really allows the economy to move and people start. As we were building the road, people don't start apply to CBA for permits and you see houses, they start going and it's a good feeling.
Only Boots never apply for CBA.
You have to talk to Boots, you know, Mr. Chang. You have to talk to Boots. Till I apply, man, you can't build house and build fence and not put in a permit, man. Send the man a little note, sir. We built also in Belmopan, Mr. Speaker, the San Martin Bridge, which is a very important bridge for the rural area of Belmopan City. And I would like to invite you all. We will be doing next month the inauguration of the Joe Taylor Bridge.
What?
Remind them 13 years within government.
Yeah. I got one request, my brother. One request. I don't want to call the bridge Mike a spot bridge. And I had to ask the area rep from the bottom of my heart, make we call the bridge Mike a spot bridge, man. Cause the man beat me up for years for that bridge. You know what I mean? So if you agree, area rep from Toledo East, I would love for that bridge to be called the Mike Spot Bridge. The man say, I agree, I'm technically writing. But the inauguration will be in June. You should come. It will change the whole way of how you enter Punta Gorda. The chocolate capital. I hope you got chocolate there for you. We completed the infrastructure development project that was given to us for the municipalities in central and southern districts. 6 public streets were hot mixed in the Punta Gorda town. 14 streets in Santa Elena and San Ignacio were concreted, Honorable. 11 streets were paved in Dangriga, Sarawia, and Hope Creek. Major amount of streets were hot mixed in the Benke town. Major street works were done in Orange Walk town and Corozal town. In fact, right now we do the bypass in the Orange Walk area through the town. That's being done as we speak. Belize City major works were done. Complex Avenue, La Croix Boulevard, Neil Penn Road. Remember there? I have to say this one. I have to go back to yesterday again. My good friend from Port Loyola. He hugged me, beat me, cussed me, all kind of thing, but we love each other. And why do I respect him? Because he don't know, no mean no. I say no about 50 times and he come about 60 times. No mean no. House, you got application about so for him. Housing grant, go through the roof. Request to assist him and I tell her, member, please understand that MIDH is not responsible for the municipal work. He said, yes, I know that. But you da my bally, you could help. And yesterday, ingenious, the man come up with a budget. The man said, he don't want 100 million. He don't want 50. He don't want 20. He don't want 12. and he won a 10. And he broke down the 10. So I am giving him my commitment that I will go with you to sit with the boss to lobby for your 10. I want to wink out there when the man in a good mood, and then I tell you, boy, make we go, no. Make sure they're close. I will try, but see, don't set me boy up for, because you're not, because he can't do it too. But what I am saying, we should not be annoyed when our colleagues are fighting for their people. That is their job. That is their responsibility. And remember, I know we're joking, but from the bottom of my heart, I applaud what you do and continue doing so. Just not cost me too much. So we do Complex Avenue, Lacroix Boulevard, Neil Penn Road. We do some street in the St. Joseph area. I remember St. Joseph Kaigane for primary school. Yes. Yeah. Then by from Holy Redeemer, I think them better than we, and we had to prove them wrong at the time. Yeah, the deal with them. Rehabilitated the Peter Seco Street. That's another street that we did. It is not enough. The area reps from the city deserve more and more and more and more. So the only time I can go into the city if the area reps get together and convince the boss that we need only municipal work, I get the budget and we can do it. So again, when I finish with my brother, I direct them and join enough for go do the lobbying. Call it. The Hawksworth Bridge maintenance project was done, Mr. Speaker. That was an important project for the Cayo district. It is cultural. It is not only a bridge. It's historical. It's cultural. It's beautiful. It represents the Cayo. Like you say, Belize City, and you think Lighthouse. But when you're at Cayo, you think Hawksworth Bridge. So it was well deserved. 1949. Completion and piling and concreting of the roundabout at mile 3.5 Philip Bolson Highway. This was to give us an idea of costings to do what we know is necessary. The road between that roundabout and the Halova Bridge is in an area that has 60 foot of peat. Studies have been done. We are building roads on top of roads on top of roads on top of roads because of cost. The estimate to just do that small section by piling it and concreting it would be approximately between $20 to $25 million. Again, that's something that we have to discuss. Is it feasible? Is it our priority to spend $20 to $25 million to do that small stretch and not worry about it for quite a long period of time, or do we continue just paving over and over because it sinks and there's no other way to deal with it? So we did the roundabout. We piled it to make sure that we start the concept. And it's a difficult one because it's highly trafficked. Anytime you work on a highway, that's a headache. Because the amount of traffic will come out of Lords Bank, Ladyville. And I feel for the people, especially during school. I get calls all morning, why don't I do this, why don't I do that? Traffic too long, you know. But that comes with the job. But let's get together as a team. If we think that's important, then let's go for it. Rehabilitation of the Bullet Tree Road, and it was hot mix. Paving of the road between Bullet Tree and Spanish Lookout, that's my brother over there. Resurfacing of the Thomas Vincent Highway from the Hummingbird Highway to Kendall Bridge. This goes through a part of your area, and then it goes into my brother Radwell's area. Hot mix, and we are approaching Kendall. On the budget for this year, we have a budget to go from Kendall to Placencia Junction. And we are hoping, and if we could get a supplementary, or we wait for next year's budget, we would like to do from Placencia to Independence. Why is it important? That stretch of road has already seen its lifetime. It is far beyond what the design originally was to be. The weight of the traffic that is going on it now is more than it was before. You're adding on Santander's sugar, you're adding on BSI's sugar, you're adding coconuts, you're adding, I mean, there's so many heavy. Right now, the trailers are getting like the ones in Australia when they pull 2, 3, what do you call it, tandems? So the road has to move along with production, it has to move along with the economy, and so we are doing that also. Paving of the Guinea Grass Road, everybody, done. Philip Golson Highway, from the Philip Golson Highway to the Guinea Grass Village, 8 kilometers was paved. Now we are completing the one from Guinea Grass Village to Shipyard, which is another 3 kilometers. So that's in the Orange Walk district. And then right now we are doing paving and draining of the road that goes from San Esteban Village to Progreso Village, which is my brother from Corozal Southeast. Paving of the Philip Golson Highway between Buttonway Boulevard roundabout and the Belcan Flag roundabout. I think you had a doubt with this one. So it is 3.2 kilometers of hot mix. It's not chip and seal. No, and it is 4 lanes. Additional to the hot mix of it, it is 3.2 kilometers of concrete sidewalks that we have put in, or nearly completed, and 400 meters of concrete medians, along with palm trees that will be placed in the medians to be able to have some kind of aesthetics. If you have or need any more information about this road, just send it to me and I'll send you the breakdown of it. Paving of the road from Lucky Strike to Mascal. I think you know about this one, Mr. Speaker. Hot mix, 13 kilometers. It is 35% complete. It's going on budget. It's going on schedule. If the member lobbies some more, then we could go in and do another road for him in that area. It would be our pleasure. Paving of the Maraj Road in Ladyville. Hot mix, 1.6 kilometers. Paving of the main access road in Hattieville, 1.4 kilometers. Design and construction of the San Ignacio Santa Elena low-lying bridge. The engineers did not want to do this bridge because they said the feasibility study in the past said that that's why they did the Santa Elena bridge, the one at the back. And you had to use the long-lying bridge. So what we did, we said, listen to me. Sometimes it's not only what the feasibility study says, it's what the culture says. The Cayo people from both the San Ignacio and Santa Elena are in love with that long-lying bridge. They just didn't like that it was wooden. They didn't like that it was a bit dangerous. But they would never have accepted if we would not have built that bridge. In fact, you could ask the mayor of San Ignacio, who is an opponent from us, but a friend. You can ask anybody in San Ignacio or in Santa Elena that uses that area. The people that use the vegetable market could tell you. The ones that go to the river for passive recreation can tell you. So we decided that we will do the bridge, and we decided to do the bridge out of concrete. So it's a prefabricated bridge that is presently being built. And 97 meters long and 2.5 meters high. Now remember, the design of this bridge is also that river floods like crazy. That river, I don't know, joke. In a matter of what, half hour to an hour, it can go to a height that reaches the gas station in San Ignacio, for example. So the bridge has to be designed that we know that water will go over it, to resist the forces that comes with it, and it can easily be cleaned after the flood goes down. And we don't mind because we still have the Hawksworth, we have the Hawksworth, and we have the other bridge to be able to use in times of emergency. 90% completion of the Corozal to Sarteneja Road. This is one of the projects that the member of the opposition was alluding to. This project started in 2018. It was the only project that we are working on that we inherited. It is a design build project. It's $50 million US. It was a combination grant loan from the Republic of China. The contractors is called OECC, which is a Taiwanese company. They were responsible for design and construction of the road. When we got into government, 45% of the financing had already been forwarded, and only 10% of the work had been done. So we had to restructure our supervision, restructure our negotiations, had meetings with them, have them sit down, put one time frame that was realistic. And I must say that after all that hard work and after years, by the September of this year, the road should be completed and still within the budget of the original quotation. That was the mission that we had. That is what we are doing, and that is what we are committed to complete. But that project explains to the naysayers on the other side how responsible this government is. We're not going to no bad mind and say, you know, never we start in the project, never we do the project, never we negotiate the project, so we can come in with a dangag and so we can cancel the project and do it again. No, we thought it was properly done. The government of Taiwan was involved. The contractor was chosen. All our responsibility is make sure you do it correct and make sure you do it within your budget. That is how this government, this PUP government operates. Paving of the San Esteban Road, 10 kilometers from Banquitas Orange Walk to San Esteban Village, that has been done already. Completion of the Halaova Bridge Replacement Project, joining Santa Elena Town by Trapeach Community to Santa Familia Village. So we are dismantling, which we have dismantled already, the original structure of the Halaova Bridge. We are now in the process of rehabilitating, sandblasting, painting, putting in new bolts, looking at all the connections. That bridge, once the abutments are built out of concrete in the area that we discussed, will be transported there and will be replaced. So we are rehabilitating an existing structure, which is something that's rarely done in this country. Caracol Road Upgrading Project. Another long project. I discussed a bit about it this morning. We are pending right now from the Pinol line to the Caracol Archaeological Site, which is about 26.2 miles. That was divided into 3 lots. 23.7 kilometers from the Pinol to the Guacamayo Bridge. Lot 2B, which is the Guacamayo Bridge itself. And Lot 2C, which is 18.7 kilometers from the Guacamayo Bridge to the Caracol Agricultural Site. That completion date is scheduled for the entire Caracol Road to be the ending of 2025. We should be able to complete and inaugurate. Upgrading of the George Price Highway between San Ignacio and San Jose Socots. Hot mix combination with concrete, 10.65 kilometers. We hot mixed the majority of the highway and we decided to concrete the section that goes through the village of Socots because that's where the river passes and that's where it experiences severe flooding at times. And we have designed the road so that if the water goes across, it doesn't eat out the road, it flows over it. And that is in the final processes of being completed. So the road is approximately, I'd say about 70% hot mix and 30% concrete. Commerce Bight to Dangriga. Sorry, Commerce Bight Road in Dangriga. My brother, Dr. Zabane, I think he had given up hope because it was every year. We had put it in the budget. Every year we put it in the budget, and I tried, and he tried, and priorities were in other areas, and it was never done. But I think he found magic. And somehow last year it was put at the top of the list. And we are now there. So congratulations, Doc. And I am recommending to all my colleagues, never forget that we are politicians, and one of the major responsibilities of a politician is to lobby for his area and his people. So, guys, but you can't lobby just to say, I want this and I want that. You have to come with your stats. Why is it important? Do you leave economic study? Do you leave financial study? One or two questions, you got it right there. And then you tell a man, sign it, no, boss, sign it, no, because when you walk out, somebody else there at the door, and he can come with for his thing. And so if you don't make the man sign it right now, by the time you walk out, he gone. So let's lobby some more, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. We are lobbying for and on behalf of our people. And the truth is, Mr. Speaker, all the people in this country are ours. See who they over there? Sorry, good morning. I miss you the first 2 days, member from Kaios. But we represent, well, in my area, are they close to them, Balea? We represent 90% of the population. So how do we operate in our areas? Ask these gentlemen who have, how much times have you won, Honorable Francis? 6. Honorable Cardell? 6 times. You think you could win 6 times by just the smile? No, no, no. It is hard work. And no, it's not like you will represent a sector of that community. You will represent everybody. That's how we operate in Kaya South. We represent everybody. So let's lobby more for our people. I have no problem with that. Concrete of the center street in the Placencia village. We noticed that the end by the pier was having serious problems, and we decided to concrete that section. And we hope to be doing more for the Honorable Rodwell. We are also in Maya Beach doing a pedestrian and bicycle path. We have noticed that it is extremely dangerous where there's a lot of tourism and they're using their bicycle on the road with major vehicles running at high speeds, and it is just an accident waiting to happen. So we decided to take the initiative and move ahead with that. We are in consultation with the Ministry of Tourism to see if they would join us so that we could do more. Right now we are about to reach St. Bite Village, and the plan is to reach all the way to Placencia. We'll get there. It's just a matter of time, and we'll do it by phases. But I think that was another important one. And then we did the Farmers Express Road, Banana Bank, Valley of Peace. This was a PPP where the ministry put in some of the resources. We joined with the members of the Spanish Lookout community who were asking us to make sure that the Farmers Express Road become a public road. We went through all the technical aspects, and that is now a public road. And then they put their contribution along with Valley of Peace Farms and Banana Bank Farm, put in their resources along with us to be able to have that project completed. It helps the farmers, it helps the Mennonite community, and it helps the villagers of the Valley of Peace to take out their products. So I would personally like to say thank you for that one. There are many more, Mr. Speaker, but I don't want anybody to get back to me, but I got a whole list of projects here. I don't think you want to read the whole of this, Mr. Speaker. I want to circulate it and I don't read the whole thing because we have to go there till tonight.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 12.8, I move that the proceedings on the order paper may be entered upon and proceeded with at this day's sitting at any hour though opposed.
Honorable members, the question is that the proceedings of the order paper may be entered upon and proceeded with at this day's sittings at any hour through opposed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. Member from Kaya South, you can continue.
Thank you. I needed a little break for true. Like a breath of fresh air. Mr. Speaker, now let's get to the housing aspect of our portfolio. This time when I get in trouble. This time when I deal with auto lobbying, but you know they work too good. Mr. Speaker, we completed 50 homes in the Highland housing project in Belmopan recently. It was done again, a collaborative effort between the government of Taiwan and the Ministry of Infrastructure and the government of Belize. We did the inauguration about 2 weeks ago. It is in conjunction with the building of the JW Bridge and the road that I spoke of recently. Much needed people. It is one of the projects that we are proud of, Mr. Speaker. We also have 50 starter homes completed and ready to hand over shortly in the Blackberry area, and that is mostly for our veterans from the city that have a landlocked constituencies. So we'll be doing that inauguration pretty soon, 50 more houses that are completed. And we have 100 more regular starter homes countrywide that we completed this year. I saw the Prime Minister handing up one with the lady crying on his shoulder. Is that not true, Prime Minister? It was last week, I think. I think I'll go talk to that lady for talk to you more, you know, boss. We are doing miracles, Prime Minister. We are doing miracles with $5 million a year. And publicly again for the 5th year. Yeah, Prime Minister, but I don't know UDP. Prime Minister, we are humbly requesting on behalf of the people of Belize that the $5 million budget be incremented so that we can better serve our needy people. Prime Minister, I know they asked for 100, I know they asked for 50, I know they asked for 20, I know they asked for 15 million, I know they asked for 12 million. Prime Minister, I know they asked for that $10 million. Prime Minister, you cut from who you want cut, including me, but whenever you make that decision, think of that lady in Orange Walk Central that cried on your shoulder, and how you, Prime Minister, through me, saved that lady's life. You made her life better. I listened to the Honorable member from Lekai explaining that story. He has been saying anytime he says it, I kind of shed a tear. Lovell's house. And then I listened to my brethren from Belmopan saying he grew up in the largest thatch house in the country. No, he told me I never the whole country. I'm one of Belmopan. And I don't have that kind of story. We were a little bit more fortunate. But I can appreciate what it meant to be able to live a stable life. I can appreciate what it meant that my father or mother maybe never had to worry about that aspect of life and could have invested the extra money into my education. I could appreciate what it means in society when that little extra money invested in one's education can make a major difference in one's future. That is what I take, and some of my colleagues believe I'm a bit maybe too pushy with it, but I believe in the PUP's core principle. And that is, we are here to help the ones that can't help themselves. As long as I am an elected member of this government or of this party, I will continue to lobby for that cause, because that is our responsibility, and housing is one of the programs that the Right Honorable George Price would definitely agree with us. It changes the lives of people, period. And then I was listening to my brother over there from Mesop, and he was saying, why the house name too small, that way he said, right? Well, of course he answered the house too small. You see the house when he lived in a Caribbean shore, that 3-story front of the sea, Van, you look at a picture of the house? So of course he has said the house too small. And I applaud him. He's a hard-working man and he has achieved what he needs to achieve. But those starter homes that we are building, the people that live in there love it as much as he loves his house. It is a starter home with a concept. It was designed so that it could be expanded to a 2 to a 3 bedroom. In fact, we have given them the plans. I mean, why you stay a minute so you could listen to what they say. Yeah. And they said that people that have roofs over their head, like you and me, might not appreciate how that house that we are building changes people's lives. No, I'll tell you why. There are 3 programs there that the government envisioned. One is a social program, and this is the example of the social program. Then there is the middle class approach, where you want to build your 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom. The government of Belize is willing to give you the plans at $100 or $200. You can get your approval, and then you take those plans and an estimate. You go to the DFC or to the National Bank. And the DFC and the National Bank presently have rates that are extremely reasonable for people to be able to build their houses. Because you're a businessman, and you will understand that you do not want government to be competing with the private sector in an industry. You know why government, they open up Chongsang 3, for example. You want the private sector to be able to do what they do and compete in the private sector, but don't compete with government. So we designed the program so that what we are doing is a social program. It's designed to help the needy. And then you have the middle class and the upper class. They can go into the private sector. Because somebody, for example, a public servant of a certain level, that's a perfect client for a DFC or a National Bank because they're hired, they can't be fired. The income is, the stream is flowing steadily. Guaranteed payment, and so that's a perfect client for an institution like the DFC or National Bank. So that is where that program would be. And so this program will never go beyond the 1-bedroom starter home. As it is, you alluded to cost, so I brought you some, so you could have an idea. Each house is approximately 430 square foot. The price ranges from $56,000 to $62,000. Why does it range? Because it depends on where the house is being built. If it is in a concrete area, a stony area, then it can have less height. If it's in a swampy area, the type of foundation changes. So it depends on where you are, and that's the range. And this is approximate, it's the range that we have been using. This gives us approximately $130 per square foot, more or less. The average. Now, I challenge you, member from MESOP, to go into the private sector and quote a complete finished concrete house with water installation, electrical installation, sewer installation, and see if you can. In fact, if you could come and build me one of them same house for less than $100 and $30 a square foot, maybe you want to be a contractor like your Bally Boots too. You know, I'd give you the job. Can look like everybody wants to turn contractor now. But the $130 gives you an idea that it is an extremely low cost per square foot compared to the market of the construction industry presently. And you know, because you build a lot, so you know what I'm talking about. I hope this clarifies your concern. Yes, and I can safely tell you since I got in 2021 to where we are right now, about between 25 to 30% increase in material. The labor has increased more than the $5 per that's minimum. That's not paid in the construction industry. And so, with that said, I am saying, why our government not invest more in training, and Doc, maybe you could help us and the member from Toledo West, spend more money training our technicians. We need more plumbers. We need qualified, no? We need more plumbers. We need more electricians. We need better masons. We need all of these things, because people in Belize fail to realize, and no offense to any profession, but the person that sits in the bank or sit at the call centers make X amount a day. I think it's fair wages, but it's nothing compared to wedding guys as a plumber or electrician or a mason make. These guys are making at a minimum $100 a day. Those are the ones that are not good. The one that are really good, you talk $150, $175 a day. A plumber comes to your house, you say, boss, me toilet the leak. Hinga receipt book like doctor, $200 just for come and say, yeah, the leak. Give me the 200, all right. Then you call you next two for fix it. Nothing wrong with that. In Europe, I've said this to cabinet many times. In Germany, the technicians, the carpenters, and they call themselves master carpenters, master builders, the electricians and the plumbers are looked at in society at a higher level than most of the professionals that we consider here. They're trained. They're professionals. They dictate a certain level of income. The technical professions, in my opinion, is what this country needs to be able to boost production. And if we are serious about manufacturing, if we are serious about elevating this part of our society, then we have to spend more money in that sector. I got sidetracked a bit. With time, I don't have a problem, but I don't think the House will allow you have the ability in this structure. But we can have a conversation, and I'm willing to listen to any positive input. I've always had that. The problem is none of you guys have ever done it. I have invited Hugo Pat about 5 times. Every time you talk about one thing where you don't know about, I tell them, come see me. Consider facts. Let's go to the site. I'll visit with you. If you are willing, I am willing. I don't have no problem with that. Well, I'll get to that. So let's start with the construction then. One of the achievements of the ministry also has been, which we will debate later on, and I hope we have got time, the building code. People need to understand that this was a 4-year effort, 5-year effort of serious professionals trying to better the construction industry. I believe the contractors in Belize need to form an association of their own. I think they need to be trained. Not all of them, but a lot of people consider themselves contractors and they're not, until you get something that you know is not a contractor doing it, and then you realize what I'm saying. I believe they should be registered. I believe they should be trained. Look at doctors where every year they go away to learn a little bit more about their profession. I think attorneys do it also. We as architects, we do it also, because as the years go by, technology changes, technology gets better. You have to be able to keep in touch. You have to be able to learn new things. You have to be able to understand your client. You have to be able to look at new materials and see how they're applied. And nobody is perfect. Far from perfect. But the more information that you have and the more knowledge that you have attained in those industries will allow you to be to do better at what you do. And you might even be able to generate more income if you're better at what you do. It's how the private sector works. Mr. Speaker, let's go to my love, and that is Kaya South. I would not be here. None of us would be here without our people. especially now, I win by a margin of close to 4,000 votes difference. That means a lot. That means that close to 90% of the population in Kaya South came out and gave their support. I don't take that lightly. That's why I work every day. That's why I have structures in place that give people the services that they need. It is not my money. I tell everybody who work for me, I not for you money. It's for their money. Just make sure that we do it fairly. You can't get one person over and over and over. You have to share it. You can't just do everything for your family. You have to share it. That is the philosophy that we, the Kaya South team, implements in our constituency. Our constituency have a serious social conscience. Our executive have a serious social conscience. Our dream, and we are working at it and it go good, is to elevate the quality of life of our villagers so that they reach to the level of the urban areas. There will be nobody in the future when we left away and tell for we Kaya South people in a village and that means that they are less than the others. That will not happen. So we ain't got the best schools, we ain't got the best roads, we ain't got the best farms, we ain't got the best educated people. That is the dream. And we will work hard to make sure that that dream is achieved. We hear the dropout, they get white. Me back the hat me when I hold child when I got here. But I work hard for them. I have to do it. Because they went out in the sun and in the rain. I know as poetic as my brother, whether they're not for me or me not for them. And I know as poetic as him, but the heart did them in. I forgot a poetry school and then I could be able to express myself a little better, but the heart is there. And I am recommending this to you, Mr. Speaker, and to all the other area reps that are here. There is no substitute to work. And everybody has a different style. Somebody say, boy, I don't want to be like Lee Mark. I don't want to be like Lee Mark, but they don't know what he have to do for them. I don't want to be like Mr. Guerra, but they don't know what it takes for him. Every person is different. Every constituency is different. What is not different is the people that need the help. So, what did we do in Kaya South? I don't want to go through the whole thing about all the culverts and things. I know that could take our next 10 hours. We did infrastructure projects to be able to suffice most of our villages, and we didn't do all the villages, but we come. We built schools where there were no schools before. That's a fact. We rehabilitated most of the community centers, and the ones that have not been will be. We have started, and I must say, kudos, Mr. Speaker, to your dad. I have seen what he did, and I think it's in conjunction with you when you rehabilitated the softball field. I told my people, because we have softball champs for years. The Golden Girls coming out of Kaya South. We had champions coming out of Kamalote. We had champions coming out of Roaring Creek. We had champions coming out of Ontario and other villages. My dream this term is to give them the necessary infrastructure and finances so that we could go beat to know that Belize Rural not, or at least compete. That's the dream. Elevate the sporting activities in our area. Why? Housing, infrastructure, education, health, all of that are ingredients for a positive economy. They are ingredients to minimize crime. We don't see those things. If a person has employment, he is less likely to go rob you. If a person has participation in sports, most of the energy going there instead of go jack you. If a person has a house, then he got more disposable income for spend on education and less loitering and less aggressive behavior. All of these social programs that I believe is the backbone of the People's United Party we need to do and do more. We cannot only be serving the foreign direct investors. That is good. There has to create a balance. At the end of the day, our people, when they make their money, it circulates. They go to the grocery store and they buy the food and they pay their GST. When I leave Friday, they come and go to Chongsa.